Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sip and Talk with Miss Londa. Today, I have a great guest joining me today. I have Shondale Atkinson. She is going to be discussing her new documentary, Beyond the System. So, without further ado, let's welcome her to the stage. Hi, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm glad to have you. Thank you for joining.
I appreciate you having me today.
All right. So, let's start off by having you tell us, where are you from?
I am from Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton,
Born,
Ohio. Okay.
born and raised Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. All right. And so you have a new documentary that you're working on. Have you already, I'm quite sure you've already written it, but have you already started filming it?
We have started filming Beyond the System. We are actually shooting it as a documentary. So we have about 25 other people who will be joining us on this journey of discussing the foster care system in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. So you were born into the foster care system, correct?
I was. I went into the foster care system when I was one, but my older siblings and my mother already had involvement with the system when I was born. So yes.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. And if you don't mind me asking, can I ask what led you to going into the foster care system?
My mother was well, first of all, my mother was a part of the system herself, so this is a generational system issue that we see with my family. My mother went into foster care right before she turned 2, when her mother passed away.
Okay.
And then my mother was one of the ones who suffered from the drug addiction when crack hit our communities in the 80s. So my mother fell prey to the crack addiction, and all 5 of her children were in and out of foster care.
Okay. Now, was there ever a time that you were placed back with your mother?
Yeah, so my mother would do, kind of what I would call a yo-yo type of system with her kids. We would go into a foster home. My mother would get clean. She would go into a rehab. She would get clean. She would get her kids back. She would relapse. And then she would send her kids back into care, or someone would call and our caseworker would come back and get us. So that happened many times.
Okay. All right. All right. And so, growing up in the foster care system, how was that for you? You still with us? Are you still with us? I think maybe if you can hear me, you might want to go out and come back in. Somehow you lost connection. Your camera isn't showing anymore. Give us a sec. She's gonna figure out what's going on with her camera. Are you able to hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay,
Okay.
there you go. So you're back with us. Okay. So I
Okay.
don't know if you caught the last question that I was asking.
Can you repeat that question, please? I'm sorry. It went
Sure.
out.
So I was basically asking, how was it for you growing up in the foster care system?
Oh man. It was pretty bad. I was in 21 different foster homes before I was emancipated at 18, and most of the foster homes that I was in were extremely abusive. I went through a lot of sexual abuse in these homes. We went through a lot of physical abuse. you know, we were at times might have been placed with a sibling, but there were more times than not that we were all separated in different homes, which made it really hard because, you know, not only do we not have our parents, but now we don't have our siblings. So a lot of the things that we went through and that we encountered, we did not have advocates to really speak up for us. Even when we tried to tell things that were happening to us,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't heard or listened to or believed. So, you know, you learn how to just be quiet and take it in foster care. And so that's really what Beyond the System is to shed a light on, is not just, you know, there's not all bad, but there's definitely a lot of things that need to be changed as we look at the homes and the criterias and the you know, the way that they go about protecting kids in care. It was a pretty bad experience.
Okay. All right. And then you became a teen mom at 17. Was this through dating or?
It was. So I pretty much I used to run away all the time from my foster home, especially when it was moments like when my mother was missing, and they could not find her. I would always run away to try to go find my mother in different neighborhoods that I knew that she would be in, different drug areas. And I ended up meeting an older guy and became involved with him. And it was crazy because that's really how I started the Mustard Seed Foundation, which is a residential parenting facility for teenage moms and their babies in foster care system. I started that in 2007 based off of my own experience of being a teen mom in foster care, and pretty much having them trying to rip my daughter out of my arms the day that I gave birth to her, you know, trying to place us in separate housing. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, don't I even have an opportunity to attempt to parent? I haven't done anything wrong. I didn't put myself into this system. I should be allowed to at least parent my own daughter. And so that's really what made me start my residential facility, was to give other young ladies in the system a chance to parent their own kid.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So tell us a little about the documentary.
So Beyond the System is a documentary that is uh it's going to be thought provoking. We really want people to think about, you know, some of the things, even when we have individuals that are working on this project with us, individuals that have done different projects, films, you know, when you ask them questions about the foster care system, and a lot of times it's just like, oh, well, it's a system where they go out and remove children from families who cannot take care of them or that's abusive towards them, so on and so forth, and place them in good homes. Well, that would be what we would like to believe, but and that's something that we want to make sure that individuals understand exactly what the foster care system is and how we need to work hard on breaking some of those barriers to children being able to emancipate, you know, successfully out of these systems. When you turn 18, you know, there are things that people don't know. Like a lot of times we go to the homeless shelters because we have no family to go to. We don't have anybody to pick up the phone and be like, hey, mom, can you help walk me through this credit application or help me walk through this banking, or all the things that families are able to assist you in. We don't have that when we get kicked out of foster care,
Yeah.
essentially. So this film is going to be about several individuals impacted by the foster care system, providing an in-depth and passionate account of their story with foster care. And it's not just individuals who are in foster care. These are individuals who have worked as caseworkers in the system. They are individuals who are teachers who have taught for many years in the educational system. And they'll be talking about how do we educate and watch, you know, and be able to pay closer attention to those kids who are transitioning, constant in transit mode, you know, hopping from one couch to another home, in
Yeah.
foster care, in this house one day, out of this house the next. So we really wanted to have a full spectrum view of what does the whole system look like, and how do we do better to make sure that we're addressing some of the things, that some of the traumas that are that are received even in foster homes. How are we dealing with these individuals when they've been so traumatized in these foster homes? What are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a program because I
Mm.
myself have a nonprofit. It's called Ladies Needs Incorporated. which is geared towards single women with children, but teen girls as well. There's a program that I designed called TABS, which is Teens Aiming for Success. One of my target girls are girls aging out of the foster care system. So they would come through this program and they would go through various categories of the program. The incentive at the end is to be able to put them in their own place, last month's rent paid, set them up with furniture, household essentials. For the first 6 months of them being in the program, we would like to do weekly visits just to make sure they're maintaining employment and there's, stability. Because you're right, when they age out of foster care, sometimes there's not a plan set up.
Yeah.
So they end up on the streets. They end up in even worse situations they were in before they went into foster care. And so that's why I designed that program to kind of help, with that.
I appreciate you doing that, because we need more focus on young adults coming out of care and how to keep them from transitioning into your prison system, how to keep them from transitioning into shelters. And like you said, getting into abusive relationships because they have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much my story. Was like, I just attached myself to a lot of things that was unhealthy at a very young age, just because I didn't have any other options. So yeah, I appreciate you doing that program.
All right. All right. So have you found distribution for your documentary?
We haven't yet. We are in the phases of actually doing our interviews, doing our shooting, wrapping that up here in about another week or so. And then we're gonna start looking at, okay, what is our timeline? What would we like to showcase this film, at? What do we want to launch it at? Who are some of the key players that we need to make sure that we're inviting to join us on this film and helping to support. So right now we're in the stages of trying to find support, financial support, but also in-kind supporters, people that may have the gift of working in film, in this type of media industry. We are inviting them to join us on being able to launch this film and making sure that it's getting the attention that it needs and deserves.
Okay, so I am new in the media world. I do have my own network. It's called Queens Talk TV. I
Okay.
started it in 2022. I stream through Roku, Amazon, the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, as well as my own website. And I will send you that website link, after the interview and everything, if you would like to check it out. We do distribution. So I would love to help if you would allow me.
I would love that, and I appreciate your offer. And that's really, my whole goal with this film was just to put my heart out there and really to tell the story, not just from my perspective again, but from others' perspective, and to be able to find the right partnership. So I appreciate that offer.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. All right. What would you like to tell the viewers? What would you like to share with the viewers?
What I would like to share is that one is to pay attention to whatever area you live in. Foster care youth are, they're not asked to be in this situation. So a lot of times, sometimes we're misjudged, we're misrepresented. Sometimes it's like, oh, these are bad kids or problem children, and they're not. They're just kids that want to be loved. And just pay attention. If there's anything that you can do in your own local area to help to make sure that a foster care youth is heard or seen, educated, please do what you can. And reach out to me, the wellness lady, if there is any desire to want to support this film. And again, we said that this is the documentary, but I'm seeing it more of a docu-series. Like, this is only the first one. I've been getting so many people reaching out, asking me to do their story on foster care. And so I plan on making this a series. So please reach out to me if you know someone that's been in foster care who would like to share their story. And again, it's just a collaboration of hearts coming together.
Okay. All right. So as far as funding, like, do you have like a GoFundMe or anything going to help with like some of the funding?
I do currently have a GoFundMe. It is on my website, which is www.thewellnesslady.com. So if you log onto my website, you will see the link for Beyond the System, and you will see the GoFundMe link. I am currently attempting to raise $10,000 for this project, and so that is up right now.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you send me that link so I can add it in the description of the video, and also share it as well so that we can, help you out, try to help raise some of the funds. Let everybody know where they can find you.
I am the Wellness Lady on Facebook. You could also find me here. I have a medical marijuana clinic here in Dayton, Ohio, in downtown Dayton, called Serendipity Community Care. But I am, like I said, everybody pretty much finds me on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram up under the Wellness Lady.
All right. I would like to thank you, Shondale, for joining us and sharing this, your documentary with us. And we're looking forward to seeing that. And I hope we can collaborate in the future.
I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much, and have a blessed evening.
You too. Thank you.